The Galactic Court of Interstellar Justice had convicted every war criminal brought before it for 300 years straight. Perfect record. Until the defendant hired a human lawyer. The defendant was Gralveth, Vorath warlord, responsible for the destruction of 2 moons, 1 inhabited, had been caught on 17 separate recording devices, confessed twice, 1 on accident, once because he thought it was funny. He was looking at 4 consecutive life sentences plus exile to a dead system. His original lawyer quit. The replacement quit. The 3rd one retired specifically to avoid this case. Someone suggested a human lawyer as a joke. Gralveth said sure. His name was Elaine. He walked into the Galactic Court of Interstellar Justice with a backpack, a coffee, and the energy of a man who had parallel parked in a tight spot and nailed it on the first try. The prosecutor, High Advocate Zen, had been doing this for 80 years, never lost, had a statue outside the building. Elaine looked at the statue on his way in and said, "Cute." The bailiff called the court to order. Zen stood up. 6 feet of pure prosecutorial confidence, slid a data chip across to the judges. "Your Honors, the evidence against the defendant is, frankly, complete. 17 recordings, 2 confessions, 38 witness accounts, forensic data from both destroyed moons. We are prepared to present all of it." The 3 judges nodded, formality at this point. Elaine raised his hand. "Quick question. Were those confessions recorded with proper advisement of rights under Galactic Statute 7, Article 3? Zen blinked. "The defendant is Vorath. The Vorath have not signed the Galactic Rights Compact." "Right, but he was arrested in Sector 12 airspace." "Correct." "Which falls under Compact jurisdiction." A pause. "Correct." "So," Elaine clicked his pen, "were the rights read?" The silence that followed was long enough to be its own legal argument. "Your Honors," Zen said, recovering fast. "Even without the confessions, we have 17 recordings." "Which recordings?" Elaine said, already flipping through a folder. "All 17. The ones from the Sector 9 surveillance array?" "Among others, yes." That array was decommissioned in standard year 4412 and reactivated without a renewed surveillance warrant in 4415. Elaine looked up. 3-year gap in certification. "The footage is still valid under which provision?" "Under the continuity of evidence doctrine, which requires unbroken chain of custody." "Was there chain of custody documentation during the decommission period?" Zen opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. "We will verify." "I'll wait," Alan said, and sat back down. The court recessed for 2 hours. Zen found Elaine in the hallway eating a granola bar. "You know he did it," Zen said quietly. 17 recordings, Elaine agreed. "Wild." "He confessed." "Twice, yeah. Love that for him." "Then what are you doing?" Elaine looked at him. "My job, man." They came back. Zen pivoted hard to the 38 witnesses. "The prosecution calls its first witness, Commander Rel of the Sector 9 observation post, who personally observed." "How far was the observation post from the incident?" Elaine said, not looking up from his notes. "Approximately 40,000 kilometers. So, not close." "It is within standard observation range for..." "What's the visual acuity limit on a standard observation post at that range under low particle conditions?" Zen turned to his assistant. His assistant turned to another assistant. That assistant pulled out a tablet, typed something, and slowly turned pale. "We'll submit documentation," Zen said. "Please," said Elaine. The judges were starting to look tired. Judge Orvin, the eldest, leaned forward. "Counsel, I want to be direct with you. This court has reviewed the totality of evidence. The defendant's guilt seems..." "Seems," Alan said immediately. "Appears..." "Appears is also doing a lot of work there, Your Honor." "Is supported by considerable evidence," Orvin said firmly. Evidence we are currently reviewing for procedural compliance, yes. That's the process, Alan smiled. Right? Orvin leaned back, rubbed whatever he used as a face. Right. 3 days in, Zen had not slept. He was standing outside the courtroom when his assistant ran up.
Sir, he filed a motion to suppress the forensic data.
On what grounds?
The forensic team that processed the moon's debris. 2 of the technicians had certifications that last 14 months before the incident.
That's irrelevant to the quality of the data.
He says it violates the chain of certified handling statute.
That statute applies to biological evidence.
He says the debris had organic material.
It was a moon! It was rocks!
There was apparently some lichen.
Zen sat down on the floor, right there in the hallway. Just sat down.
Who's the best lawyer?
growled Veth said through the prison glass, grinning. Don't, said Elaine.
Elaine!
I said don't.
Man, you got my...
The case is not dismissed yet. Stop doing the thing. Day 6. Zinn had filed counter motions on all 18 of Elaine's suppression requests. Denied 9, granted 6. 3 still pending. He had one solid piece of evidence left. The clearest recording. Direct angle, perfect certification chain of custody airtight. He played it for the court. Clear as day. Growl Veth, definitely him, doing exactly what he was accused of. Zinn sat back. Finally something clean. Elaine stood up. What time was this recorded? 1432, standard galactic time. And my client's ship logs place him at what location at 1432? We will cross-reference. I already did. Elaine handed a data chip to the bailiff. His ship's navigation log, independently verified by the Port Authority of Sector 11, places him 90,000 kilometers from that location at that time. That's impossible, Zinn said. He's right there on the recording. Navigation logs say otherwise. Then the navigation logs are wrong. You have evidence of that? We have a recording of him that we cannot corroborate with location data, which means we have an unverified visual identification of a Vorath, who, for the record, Your Honor, Elaine turned to the judges, all look extremely similar to non-Vorath observers, which raises identification reliability concerns under Statute 44 of the Witness Accuracy Code. He paused. I've submitted that motion already. Check your inbox. Judge Orvin checked his inbox. There were 14 emails from Elaine. The oldest one was from 3 a.m. Zinn requested an emergency meeting with the full judiciary panel. This human, he said, is dismantling a 300-year record on technicalities. Procedural compliance is not a technicality, Judge Orvin said tiredly. It is the law. The defendant destroyed a moon. The defendant is entitled to a proper process. He confessed twice. Inadmissibly. He thought it was funny. Irrelevant to procedure. Zinn put both hands on the table. Your Honors, with respect, this cannot be the outcome. Orvin looked at him for a long moment. Then next time, he said quietly, read the rights, certify the technicians, and don't decommission your surveillance arrays without paperwork. Zinn's left eye twitched. Yes, Your Honor. Case dismissed. Procedural grounds. Insufficient admissible evidence. Outside the court, Elaine turned to Gralveth and pointed. Who's the best lawyer?
Elaine!
Gralveth said, already tearing up. And why am I the best lawyer?
Man, he got my case dismissed.
Gralveth grabbed the nearest camera drone.
I was looking at 4 life sentences. 4. He came in with a backpack and a granola bar and told the whole court about lichen.
2 granola bars, Elaine said.
2 granola bars. Case dismissed.
Growlveth wiped his eyes.
I destroyed a moon. A whole moon. Case dismissed.
Elaine straightened his jacket. Another satisfied client. Zen watched the video later that night. It had 2 million views. The top comment said, "He really said due process is for everybody, Lamau." The second comment said, "Bro got a war criminal off on lichen technicalities." Third comment said, "Another satisfied client." The Galactic Court spent the next year auditing every procedural code, certification requirement, and surveillance warrant in the system. All because of lichen, all because of a granola bar, all because someone hired a human lawyer as a joke. Growlveth did end up back in court 8 months later. Hired Elaine again. Elaine's rate had tripled. Growlveth paid it without a word. Another satisfied client.